Peace, peace. The touch in this one, man. I'm gonna deal with this guy, man, Bob McNair, and his comments he said about the NFL players running the prison. Now, there was some things that I was unclear about. The reason I made this video because I didn't know that he made the remarks while he was with other owners, and it was basically addressing the situation. So I didn't know that. So that's the reason why I made this video, and I'm actually just going to read to you a little bit of this. So this is basically the plantation owner right here, Bob McNair. Remember McNair. Remember, the NFL ain't nothing but a plantation, just like everything else is a plantation. It was a corporation. Okay, so it said Houston Texans owner Bob McNair apologized on Friday for a remark he made last week about inmates running a prison. If the NFL owner allows players to continue to sit and kneel during the national anthem, but the apology appears to have done little to appease his own players. McNair made the comments among a handful of other owners who were together at the NFL hotel after the meeting with a dozen players. Okay, say many of them African American, many of them Aboriginal Americans. They say who have demonstrated during the anthem to highlight the lack of attention to racial oppression. The players and owners were seeking common grounds on this issue when they met at the NFL headquarters in Manhattan. They say when a group of owners later discussed whether the league ought to clamp down on the protest, McNair suggested it should because we can't have the inmate running the prison. Now, look, the way he used this whole thing is belligerent, okay? Because look at how he's using it and look at how he's wording it. He's not even being sensitive to the players and what the players going through as far as, the racial tensions or whatever. And just to let me take off something. They ain't starting to make everything about race, man. I don't often watch Sports Center. Sometimes I watch it, whatever. I've been watching it lately as far as basketball highlights, but I'm about to stop watching. I got the NBA channel too. But I don't even really watch sports like that. I just sometimes watch the highlight. I like basketball. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know basketball fake and it's fixed and everything, I still love the athletic, you know what I'm saying, more. I love football too, man. You know what I'm saying? But, this shit is just getting too far. And even though I'm one person who can separate the two issues and say, well, damn, you know what? Really? To protest on a football field is not the place for that. Now, I can't say that. But at the same time, I can also say this too. If you really want to protest, just don't show up. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to protest, just don't show up and get you and everybody else who plan on protesting or whatever. Don't show up for that day. But they're not going to do that because these jokers is relying on that money. You know what I'm saying? And they're not even smart. They don't know how to even invest all that money they got to where they can get themselves out of situations to where they'll be financially secure. Because you got millions of dollars, man. It's just on another note. This ain't got nothing. I'm just touching off on another note for a second. A lot of these players got millions of dollars. They don't invest in nothing. You got whole towns for sale. You understand what I'm saying? They got money to where they can get investors to invest them. Look, man, it's so many ways where they can get money and get investments or whatever, because they got money to put up and put into these business accounts where they get money, but they can't do that because they rely on these checks. You got rookie players just coming into the league who need that money because they probably owe so many people on their way to the NFL. Then you got other players that just don't care. You got so-called Negroes who was raised in raised in the suburbs. They never really been in like like a Russell Wilson type of joker. You know what I'm saying? He's not from the hood nowhere. I don't believe he is. He probably somewhere outside the hood, but it's up to his choice whether or not he got to go through the hood. Some of us don't have a choice. Some of these kids don't have a choice. Some of these kids, they get locked up for marijuana. They get locked up for these victimless crimes where, you know what I'm saying, they sit down and I mean, these police sit there and racial profile against them. But let me get back to my original comment where I was at. Alright, so it said when a group of owners later discussed whether the league ought to clamp down on the protest, McNair suggested it should, because we can't have the inmates running the prison. Okay? You can't have the inmates running the prison. Nigga? You know what I'm saying? You're a slave. You're a slave. You're a slave. You understand what I'm saying? And he could have worded it in another way. We can't have the slaves running the plantation. Alright? I'm gonna go on. So the comments which ESPN reported was taken as insensitive and demeaning to players. I never meant to offend anyone. Yes, you did. Look at you. I could tell if you would have said, all right, well, you know, yeah, these things that's going on is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need to come down to some type of solution. Y'all was there to come up with some type of solution to what was going on, which there ain't gonna be no solution, because it ain't nothing that these owners gonna fix. Half of them probably invest in private prisons, invest in the whole reason why police and coach on you anyway. You understand what I'm saying? You know, the whole thing, if they want to make this really about the situation where they talk about, you know, crimes and police and all that or whatever, which is really not just about that. It's about the stereotypes and the racial stereotypes of people, to where people deem them as being criminals. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole culture, and then what promotes this culture is these foolish rappers. You understand what I'm saying? These foolish rappers, so they can always look at them, and if you look like one of them, then you probably like, oh well, these rappers do it. You know what I'm saying? Then you probably do the same thing. So there's a whole lot of shit, a whole lot of stereotypes that still go on. They always trying to subjugate you and always trying to civilize you. If you're not trying to be like them, then they look at you like, oh, you one of the jokers who got out of the plantation, or you one of these jokers who trying to talk about things that's not related to the business or whatever. The business is football. It's definitely football. You know what I'm saying? But the national anthem ain't got shit to do with football. You understand? That's something that these people choose to celebrate or whatever. And like you said, you can't expect everybody to respect that shit. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Francis Scott Key or whatever his name is. He wrote that shit out of ill intent, and just like to go with a lot of other things. Because if you want to bring, if you want to address that, you got to start addressing shit like Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to address in Columbus Day and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? The real racial shit. Like that's just that song was made after they probably won one of these Indian wars against one of these tribes and took their land. And then that's the song that he made to glorify it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, these brothers, they sit out there protesting, and this is crazy, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. But see, I did not know that he made this comment among other owners. You know what I'm saying? Just to make the comment among other owners is kind of foul. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely used in a malicious way. Like he used it in a malicious way by the way he said it. You'll be a fool not to believe, oh, they bringing up, one guy probably said, well, what do you think about, the players in England? You shouldn't even be, the owners shouldn't even care about that. They should be saying, well, damn, what do you think about them players getting all them yards, or what about the player who got hurt or whatever? Never mind what they protesting to the song, as long as they doing their job on the field. That's all that matters. And this is what people not even looking at. They so much worried about the flag, and so much worried about, oh, they not kneeling, oh, they not trying to. They made it so many different issues, but all the issues that they dealing with is dealing with everything that people got problems with. All right, so when them brothers kneel, this is what I think of. I think of this type of shit here. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what it looks like when you look at these players kneeling, man. They look foolish, man. Because you know why? Because if you want to kneel, you still are coming to attention of the song. Why not just sit on the sideline? Why not just turn your back to it? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Why not do something like that? Why do you gotta at least assemble amongst the other players that's standing. That means you still showing honor to it. So if it's the problem really with that song, you shouldn't even show no honor to it. You should just go sit down. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. See, when you start saying that, oh man, well, you got a problem with things or whatever, man, listen, problems been going on for the last 400 years, man. And you know what I'm saying? So, you know, people got the internet, people can see stuff that wasn't privy to, you know, books, or, you know, people probably got short attention spans who don't like to read. They can go ahead and hit certain documentaries or whatever, and they got people admitting the stuff that they do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, to you admit it and then get mad at somebody's response or how they want to you know, react to it or protest about it. That's not your call. You know what I'm saying? You can't be the judge of the information that's out there or whatever, you know, of things going on, kids. And listen, and there's a lot of issues within the so-called black communities or whatever. It's just not the police killing each other. It is us killing each other too. And I'm not saying that naively. I'm saying that to really look at it from this perspective, right? I mean, what is the source of these young kids out here killing each other? The source of them killing each other is them getting these violent songs from this music, man, and them getting access to these guns that they putting in these communities. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we got to deal with that on a whole separate issue or whatever. It's not so much. The police always been killing niggas. You know, they was really killing motherfuckers. They had cameras back in the 60s and 70s, man. You'll really see some crazy shit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, if you really wanted to protest to this song, you would not sit up there and look like a damn slave. And then he got the inspiration from another European, the place kicker. What is it? Place kicker or the long snapper or something for the Seattle Seahawks or whatever. Colin Kaepernick got the influence from him. He said, well, why don't you kneel? Because the dude who told him to do this probably seen this picture. And he wants you to sit there and like, look, man, just don't honor it. You know what I'm saying? You make your protest by educating people so they won't keep on going out there being a victim, to learn their rights, man, to where, you know what I'm saying, to where the police won't even bother you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that's kind of hard to do, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, man, it is what it is, man. But, you know, to have people out there sitting like this and looking like this and then locking arms and shit or whatever, like that's somebody still putting you up to this, man. And like I said, man, anytime you do something like this or you sit down or you step outside of the programming, man, because that's what it's all about, stepping outside the program. If you step outside the programming, oh man, he's a problem. And that's why he made that comment, because these brothers are stepping outside the program, and that's the reason he made that comment. He made this exact comment. He made that exact comment because of, like, you know, jokers like, okay, all right, well, damn, I'm not standing up to that song. That song is a racist song or whatever. Now they gonna make you stand up to it. Or you don't want to stand for that song? I'm paying you millions of dollars. Oh nah, you want to stand up to that song or else. You know what I'm saying? And for him to say that we can't have the prisoners running the inmates or whatever, and it ain't mean that. You can't have slaves running the plantation. It ain't mean that. You're gonna do what they tell you to do, and you're gonna every rule that they tell you that applies to you, you're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you won't see none of them jokers. If they really want to protest, a bunch of them would get together and just not show up for work. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not directly affecting them in that way. You know what I'm saying? To where it has to be that serious of a protest. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this stuff is just, I think it's just like control oppositions, man. You know, I was like kind of had mixed feelings when it was dealing with Kaepernick. Like, now I'm just starting to look at him like an agent, man. It's just a lot of things where they're just not, you know what I'm saying, right and exact. You know, the fact where he was raised at, whatever. That shit really, like, it does mean something and it don't mean something at the same time, because you can be raised by people and then later on You see these movies where you see people was raised by certain people and they go back into their old environment because they feel safe there, they feel comfortable there. You know what I'm saying? And you always see that. Maybe that's what happened with Kaepernick, or maybe Kaepernick was put out there to make people start having these little racial issues within football. Because remember, football is love. It's almost 80,000 fans in the stand, man. You know, and out of 80,000 of them, I want to say 90% of them are Europeans, man. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got all these people in these stands. They don't want to see you out there. Oh man, you got a problem with this flag? You got a problem with that song? Oh, we love this song. Oh no, you want to stand up, or we don't love you. And that's how it is. In the same way, when you at these jobs where you might get lady next to you come over there, well John, or whatever your name Raheem or whatever. Most of the time Raheem won't be working along in some of these spots or whatever. But if Raheem or you know, one of them brothers with one of them names is working in one of them spots or whatever, like, you know, they find out you don't celebrate these holidays, or you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Oh, I don't like Raheem no more or whatever because he don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And then because that's spoiling their fun. This shit is fun to them. You know what I'm saying? It's fun to them to be sitting up there. Oh, I'm celebrating Thanksgiving, and then the rest of these immigrants come over here and follow the same rituals or whatever, and don't even know what the real story is about. And then when you tell them, they sit there and look at you. They're gonna continue to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Whether you involved or you're not, they just gonna look at you differently. You know what I'm saying? That's with all these organizations. That's how they always do. So, you know, I just wanted to just touch on this, man. Like I said, I didn't know he made the comment amongst other owners or whatever. Like they was all together and they was about to, like other plantation owners saying, well, you know, I got this one slave that, you know, makes a lot of, like, he always saying this little crazy stuff or whatever. You know, they're gonna deal with you. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna deal with you. They're not gonna let you protest. And even though that the anthem don't have shit to do with you out there on that field, running around, catching that ball, getting hit, making hits, making plays, whatever, man. It doesn't have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just wanted to touch on that, man. Peace out. Peace.